culture, tradition, and practice, how would you describe your school culture and what traditions or practice influence students' behavior and values?
When you talk about culture right here at Finland, I can only speak at least on the culture of the College of Education. I think that the culture is welcoming. The culture is also at the same time making sure that you are really part of the family, you're really part of the community. We get to communicate. Our relationship with each other is a supportive kind of relationship because we would always every now and then support our plans, support our activities that we have. We get to communicate with our colleagues in the same manner. We also get to communicate and we try to enrich as much as possible our relationship with the students.
In mission and vision and values, how would you apply the school's mission and vision in your teaching? And can you give a specific example where these values are practiced?
I think it's a huge thing because the things that we do, particularly in our instructional activities, are all cascaded from the vision mission of Finland CLC. So everything is cascaded from there. And so what we would like to ensure as teachers, as assistant teachers, is that these things are articulated clearly in the instructional activities that we implement in our own classroom. We don't expect to achieve these things overnight, but we ensure that, again, as I said, the activities, the instructional tasks are geared towards the realization of the vision mission, individually, collectively, or in little or huge tasks. I think that it can be reflected upon how our students are able to complete the task, how are they able to also reflect from the task that they have completed at the same time.
In educational philosophies, what teaching philosophy do you follow and how do you adapt it to meet the needs of your students?
I'm always guided by non muta sed multo, and that is a Latin phrase which means not much, not many but much. When I say that, I would always make sure that even though my instruction and I think that the presence alone might not be enough for my students, I would also ensure that they would have quality learning experience whenever I give instructions or whenever I give activities to them. So even if we only meet 1 hour 30 minutes, I would maximize the whole time just so they have quality learning experience. Things that they can get from the topic, they can get from the task, and they can get from me all day.
In leadership and management, how would you describe the leadership style for your administrators and how does it affect your performance as a teacher?
I think that it's safe to say that the leadership style we have in the department at least is an empowering kind of leadership. When I say empowering, that means that that's in my personal experience. Our leaders would always give us tasks and or activities that are aligned to the strength that we have. For example, I love hosting a lot, so hosting is a strength that I have. So every now and then, my leaders will give me this particular task. So I think that it boosts my confidence. At the same time, it also is able to develop my skill of hosting, for example, even including moderating groups. So I think it's important that they do that because, again, as I mentioned, it boosts your confidence, it boosts your morale. At the same time, it also gives you the assurance that they trust us, they trust me, they trust my skills and my ability, and they also give opportunity to expand that particular skill or talent.
In terms of issues and challenges, what common challenges do teachers face in your school and how does the school address these issues?
I think it's also more on our indifferences because no matter how we say it, I would have my different way of doing things, others would have different takes of doing things also. So yeah, I think that we would always, well, I don't want to say conflict, but there will always be, misunderstanding, there will be miscommunication. And then apparently, I think what we constantly do is to really just communicate. We speak with each other, we talk with each other. We try to bring up issues or concerns that in turn will be solved later because we communicated it, we talked about it. So I think communication is an important value, also an important factor that must be there, especially when we solving conflicts or challenges.
And our last question, sir, is what recommendation and reflection, what suggestion can you give to improve the school environment and how can the school create a more positive and supportive culture?
I think that if there's one thing I could suggest to the administration, that would be we could also expand a little about the extent of involvement of teachers or faculty in terms of decision making. I think it's important that that the administration involve the teachers because we also have a say about the things that we do. A lot of the things, especially in instructional, and the area of instruction, we are the ones, we are the frontliners. So maybe it's good that they also listen to us. We share our experience. Maybe we could also suggest some improvements so we can better the process, we can better the procedure, particularly in the instructional part. And it's us teachers who are also the ones engaging with the students. I think it's good that they also, extend the involvement of decision-making process. I think that's just one of the suggestions in order to, better these procedures or processes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir Alfred Olano describes the school as a supportive and family-like community where communication, collaboration, and mutual respect are highly valued. The school's mission and vision are actively applied through instructional activities that encourage student reflection and gradual learning, guided by a philosophy of prioritizing quality over quantity. The teacher ensures meaningful learning experiences for students. The administration practices an empowering leadership style that builds teachers' confidence and skills, contributing to a positive work environment. Also, challenges such as misunderstandings and differences exist. These are addressed through effective communication. To further improve the school environment, the teacher recommends greater involvement of teacher in decision making and creating more opportunities for sharing ideas and experiences.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Vanessa. I am Lovely Joy C. Felicis. Can I interview you?
Yes, you can.
The questions are school culture, tradition, and practice. How would you describe your school's culture and what tradition or practice influence student behavior and values?
So for our school, we have a lot of there are a lot of cultures that our school has been practicing for many years already. So one of those cultures that we have this policy in terms of haircut, that the students should cut their hair in accordance to the school's policy so that they will be recognized as students. So in that way, the students' behavior in terms of haircut are refined. So every time we have programs and every time their hairs are already long, most especially the male. So this only applicable for the male students. So they automatically go to the barber shop and then they just voluntarily cut their hair. It is because that's one of the school's culture and it's already embedded in their minds.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question, ma'am. Mission, vision, and values. How do you apply the school's mission and vision in your teaching, and can you give a specific example where these values are practiced?
Okay, for the school's mission, so I am a teacher. So of course, we really wanted to produce quality students. So in that case, how I produce quality students and adhere to that mission and vision. So in order for me to have those quality students of mine, so I plan my lesson well so that every time I go to school and teach them, I'm already ready and they already have that activities that they will answer. It is because I planned my lesson well. So in that case, if the teacher planned their lesson well, so that's equivalent to have or to produce a quality students.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question, ma'am. Educational philosophies. What teaching philosophy do you follow and how do you adapt it to meet the needs of your students?
Okay, so the teaching philosophy that I follow, that I always believe that students have this capability or they already have knowledge within them. You just need to harness and develop those information that we have. So as a teacher, I let my students discover that discover the lesson. So just like for example, when I conduct my lesson to my students, I give first activity in order for them to discover, in order for them to experience that lesson. So afterwards, I then teach them if ever they have this confusion about the topic. That's the time that I teach them. I don't like to give them first the information and then they will just listen to me and sit waiting for the information to be fed to their minds rather than I allow them to discover, because I believe that each student has each student is capable of learning and each student is intelligent. But what's the role of the teacher is that the teacher just need to develop that kind of learning.
Next question, ma'am. Leadership and management. How would you describe the leadership style of your administrators and how does it affect your performance as a teacher?
Okay, so I don't know particularly what's the name of this leadership style. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember this. But our school principal allowed us to decide on our own thing. For example, I am the SSLG coordinator in our school. So every time we have activities, so of course I ask her approval on that activities and her corrections, or if she has something to improve on the activities that I propose. So she will just let me, she will just review the activities and then she will just let me do it. So that kind of leadership style in my case helps me a lot to have my own decision making and to be independent and to do the task that I wanted to do in our school, because she believes in my capability and it gives me a sense of empowerment.
Common challenge do teachers face in your school and how does the school address these issues?
So issues and concerns are always apparent whatever school you are in. So if you don't have problems, if you don't have issues, then your life is so boring. So in our school, and I believe it's not only the problem in our school, it is because it's a problem of all the schools in the Philippines, that the character of the students nowadays are really different. Like, just take for example, the students nowadays are easily, they have this, shall I say, weak emotional quotient, in a sense that if they face tend to overthink on that one, and then they will have, according to them, they have this mental health issues. So every time we reprimand them, so they will just take that one heartily. So it's very hard for us to correct their character. It is because they are easily get hurt. So that's the main issue and concern that we face every day. So how we give solution of that? So every month we have this peer counseling so that the students can vent to their peers and can tell their emotions or tell what they're feeling inside to their peers without prejudice. So in this case, what they're feeling inside them will be at ease because of that activity.
Last question. What suggestion can you give to improve the school environment, and how can the school create a more positive and supportive culture?
Well, there's no perfect school, so everyone, each school has its own problem. So the only thing that I can suggest to our school to have this positive and supportive culture is that every month probably we can have this vent out sessions because the teachers as well are too emotional, we the teachers also have this that we have our own baggages, but since we are teachers we are not allowed to be emotional. So if we have this monthly venting out session, then probably it can also help us to have this positive atmosphere in our school. At the same time, if the teachers' mental health are being addressed, so we can also teach properly and happily our students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay?
According to Mrs. Vanessa, the school culture of their school demonstrates unity, respect, and discipline among the students. Teachers embody the mission and vision of the school by preparing lessons that are learner-centered and focus on the development of knowledge and character. With the support of the leadership in guiding and encouraging teachers, strategies are improved and the goals of the school are met. Despite the challenges of low student resilience, peer counseling can help alleviate the emotional problems of the students. Teachers can be further supported, the school can be improved, and the students can be made more involved in the development of the school culture. As we come to the end of our journey, we realize that a school is more than just a place of learning. It is a home where respect, understanding, and compassion grow. Through the voices of our teachers, we saw how dedication, strong leadership, and genuine care shape not only students' minds but also their hearts. Despite the challenges, their commitment to listen, support, and uplift one another reminds us that a better school begins with unity. In the end, it is not just about education, but about building a community where everyone feels